Be sure to join my 4000 gold giveaway before it ends in about a week. Also, there's a Discord giveaway in my Discord. Hello guys, it's me Gleff back again. Not Gleff, it's Gleff. So after the recent days of no uploads and no ideas what to make a video about, my fellow guildmates Popestick and Lugia told me to do this video, so now I'm here making this video. So this video will be about the top 10 event wights in Realm. So these are items that drops from event bosses in the Realm and is often called the most rare and unique items in the game. We have the infamous Ogmer, Sea Dirk, Jug and many more. But how would they rank if you put them against each other? It's also like the other videos where I rank top 10. You can almost pick and choose anything since it's based on what you like to play or use as items. But this is what I generally think is the top 10 if you would rank them against each other. If you haven't seen my top 10 swords or top 10 rings, go check them out in the description, and yeah, let's watch the video, let's go. Honorable mentions. There's 13 different event wights, which means there are 3 that is not on the list. And that is the Kageboshi, Ray Katana and Trap of Vile Spirit. So the Kageboshi, it's pretty useless and do not really deserve the white bag, it should really be a light blue bag. I think the Ray Katana is the worst katana in the game since it drops as a white bag and is supposed to be better than other katanas, which it's not. And I don't really know why it's, I took it up here in honorable mentions. I should really call the 3 here, or at least the Kageboshi and Ray Katana, dishonorable mentions. The Vile Trap is kinda meh, and it serves as a decent spot at number 11. It's not bad, but it's not that groundbreaking as other abilities are. Number 10. Quiver of Thunder. This is one of the few items that gives the debuff days in the game. And since I think the Christmas update or Halloween, you can now actually spam it instead of waiting 4 or 5 seconds as it was a cooldown before. I put it on number 10 since the days debuff doesn't really affect that many bosses in the game and is only useful in a handful of situations like Fungal Boss or O2. The days effect is generally not that good because you should be able to dodge on boss fights instead of relying on a debuff, which eliminates half of the boss's shot. It's still a decent quiver and gives attack on equip and can grant you more DPS. Number 9. Behemoth Quiver. I would say that this is one of the best quivers in the game. I like the 3 shots it has and the slow debuff, you can easily hit enemies. But it ranks this low since the other event wights has more groundbreaking abilities, like generally more damage than the average ability or weapon, or better debuff like Armor Broken. It also comes in 3 different colors, and I think the blue one is one of the nicest and seems to be the hardest to get since everyone kills the blue one first. Number 8. Crystallized Fangs Venom. The Crystallized Fangs Venom, or normally called the Pogmer, is one of the best poisons in the game. Not because it's damage, but because its debuff it applies on enemies, Armor Broken. A sought after debuff which was only possible before with the Shield of Ogmer. The Pogmer is really useful if you or your group does not have an Ogmer. The only problem is that you have to time it with the poison since it shoots from your character and it takes time to land. You have to play it for a while to learn it and time it right to get your enemies armor broken, if the boss you are fighting goes invulnerable like a lot of endgame bosses do. Number 7. Cloak of Bloody Surprises. This cloak, as I mentioned in my rogue video a while back, can change how you play rogue for good. It grants amazing DPS stats on use, but slows you, which could be a problem. So this item is one of, like the Pogmer, where you have to master before it can be used efficiently. Since you get slowed on use, it's only optimal to use on boss fights or moments where you are alone and you don't have to rely on your speed to dodge life-threatening bullets. Since you get plus 25 attack, it's optimal to use when you have a paladin nearby to increase your damage more, but will not work well with the attack fusion since the attack you get from both will take out each other and only leave one attack buff active. Number 6. Seal of the Blasphemous Prayer. The blah 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 seal, or more known name Oreo, is really strong and unique ability for the paladin. The Oreo got the buff recently and is now more useful to use them before. It gives +4 speed on equip and healing and damaging on use. But the unique thing is that you get invulnerable for 2 seconds if you have 75 wisdom. Before the buff, it only gave 1.2 seconds invulnerable, and it wasn't really that useful and more of a meme ability. Now though, with an increase of 0.8 seconds, it grants you a little bit more time being invulnerable, which is really helpful. I would use this on O3 where you know you will get shot and you are going to take a lot of damage. It also grants you, for example, a free cross on the beams on heavens, which a lot of players feel is hard. Number 5. Dirk of Cronus. The Sea Dirk is one of the rarest items in the game and is often a symbol for insane luck or hours spent farming it. It was the dagger with the most damage before the Avarice got added with the Oryx 3 release July 2020. It still has a great DPS and I would use it over the Avarice probably any day of the week since it looks cooler and is, as I said, a symbol of luck or hours spent grinding cube gods. Also, I got one on my Assassin PP back in the day, which is the only one I've ever gotten, and sadly it died, but the...
Wildbang! Jag fick en Sea Dirk! LOL! Nej, jag skojar inte! Jag skojar inte! Jag fick Wildbang! Jag fick Sea Dirk! Va? What? På PP? Va? What? LOL!
Number 4. Helm of the Juggernaut. What can I say? Maybe the most iconic event white ever and was before the main helmet you would use. Since the recent nerfs to the armor buff, this has gone down in my ranking, in my opinion, and I think it's still a viable helmet due you getting your defense increased by 50%, and if you have a paladin nearby with the buff, it takes out the HP you would get from a tier 6 or tier 7 helmet. And also with the removal of the cooldown on helmets, you can now spam a tier 6 or tier 7 helmet for speedy, and then you use the Juggernaut so you can be an armored warrior on crack to tank more while rushing. It's pretty insane combo, and I don't agree with the removal of the cooldowns, since you can be a speedy warrior with armored pretty much 24/7 if you have a good pet. Number 3. Tablet of King's Avatar. The most damage you can get on a spell use in the game. If you thought Wizard had great DPS before, now with the tablet you can do even more damage. Yippee. I put this on the 3rd spot since it's just pure damage compared to number 2 and number 1 spot, since both of them giving your character a buff or changes the gameplay overall. Tablet was bad before, but I think it got one of the best buffs in the game. Though you have to aim perfectly to get all the damage in, it's not that hard to get all of the shots in, since it's just a small circle and goes inward. Number 2. Orb of Conflict. This orb changes the Mystic drastically. On use you get speedy and damaging, which can allow to some sick plays with the Mystic. Sadly, I've never gotten the Conflict and it's one of the last items in the game till I've gotten one of each white bag. If you use a tier 6 or tier 7 orb, you can give the enemy curse, which is a damage increase of 25%, and then use the Conflict, you get damaging, which increases your DPS by a lot. And on equip it also gives 5 attack and 5 dexterity, which also increases your DPS. So this is just a Hail Mary of DPS and changes how the Mystic is played. Also you get speedy on the use, so vroom 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 Mystic. Number 1. Shield of Ogmer. The Ogmer is a game changer. It can allow groups to steamroll bosses like the Korgs, Dama, or other endgame bosses like the Forgotten King and Shatters. It's easier to use than the Pogmer, which armor breaks with a timer when the poison is thrown. Ogmer can allow you to armor break everything when you desire, since it lacks a cooldown or a timer. You also get 60 HP, which is the most a shield can give you in the game, and also gives you 14 defense. This is a game changer to solo play and group play, and I think this deserves the number 1 spot. I really believe that this is the best item out of all the event whites, since it just changes the gameplay so much. Their other event whites just changes your character or a small part of the gameplay, but this will grant you to do dungeons and bosses a lot more faster and just makes the game more efficient. So that's my top 10 event rights in the game. If you liked the video and want to see more top 10s, just write in the comments which one you would want next. Maybe daggers or staffs or staves, I don't know how to say Lugia, to be honest. Paladin PP is coming out soon, and be sure to catch my next stream or video, and to do that you have to follow and subscribe. See you guys later. Bye bye.